Morning. Welcome to practice. It's a very cold midwinter's morning here. But I have 3 jumpers on. So we might start kneeling and just take enough support to make that doable. And we're going to take the arms out from the shoulders and just start to turn. Can take the arms all the way around. So you'll feel the movement of the middle back particularly. And let the joints feel the fluid content, almost a sloshing feeling. Good, and then back to center. We'll take some big breaths now and try to get the ribs to expand out, not just to the front, but out to the side when you breathe in. See if you can feel the joint between the ribs. Notice what happens in the body on the exhalation. Good, and then we're going to go from side to side now. And again, try to feel the joints of the body, and here especially between the ribs. So you could really understand the fluid content of the body. So we feel a flow. Feel the stretchiness and the resilience of the body. Good, and back up to center. Paying attention again to deep breath and trying to get the ribs to expand. When you breathe in, really letting each joint open up. Nice work. And then all fours. We're going to take the left leg up and make a nice big circle with the knee. Just go as far as you can with your circle. We've got the fingers nice and wide, fingerprints pressing down, base of the index fingers pressing down. John's creeping out here. You can't quite see him on camera because it's too cold in his room. Good, and the other direction. Good work. All right, and then the right leg. Nice big circle with the knee. Feeling that fluid, easeful nature of the hip joint. Try and keep a nice even weight through the fingers. Other direction with your right knee. Good. And then releasing that side. Spinal wave forward and back. Think about your middle back. Try to make that the focus of the wave. The rest of the spine follows along. Fluidly. Good. And press your hips back to your heels. Forward Virasana. Take some deep breaths here, and again, try to feel the ribs expanding. Try to feel the space between the ribs. Take your elbows down onto the floor and knees back. Drop your hips not quite onto the floor. We're lifting the front core of the body. We're going to start to swing the hips from side to side, or you're rolling over on your knees. Always put a blanket under your knees if that's too hard on your floor. And even though there's a strenuousness to this movement, tuning into that flow in the joint, the feeling of flow, of effective, satisfying breath. Okay, and hands underneath the shoulders. Lift your breastbone up. Look up. Draw the shoulder blade. Good. Press up into cat stretch. Arch your spine up. Good. Wave the spine forward, so bring the chest forward through the hands. Laying down again, tummy onto the floor. Press into your hands, lift the breastbone, elbows in, elbows back. And then we arch up into the cat stretch. So we're going to keep repeating this sequence. And we're going to start to look for that flow. So take the hips back, the chest forward, onto your tummy, lift the breastbone, arch the spine up. Hips back, hands forward, lift the breastbone, look back bend, arch the spine up. Couple of deep breaths. Good. Hips back, chest forward, onto your tummy, lift the breastbone, arch the spine up. One more. Hips back, chest forward, onto your tummy, lift the breastbone up, arch the spine up. Nice work. Tuck your toes under, walk your hands back so you can roll back into a squatting position. Come up to standing forward bend if you need to. Good. And then rolling all the way up. Lost my mat. Take your arms up and look up. And Tadasana. Nice work. We're going to be stepping forward and back on the mat. So have the seat of the chair on your mat if you need that to reach your hands onto instead of the floor. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, forward bend. Just let your body hang here. So let your head hang down. And feel how that stretches the skin of the back body. So you feel that stretch. And we might be still a little bit cold. Still some room to warm up. But as you breathe deeply, finding the feeling of the joints of your spine. Good. And then we're going to roll up and arms up. Let's do that again. Forward bend. Let the skin of the back even stretch here. So we're aware of all those connections. Tissue of the skin, the fascia, the muscle. Breathing deeply. Warming with the exhalation. Okay, one more. Inhale, arms up. And just hanging forward. Loosely, fluidly. Nice and relaxed. Good. And then we're going to keep that really relaxed feeling in the body. So step your left foot back so you can get your heel on the floor. And bend your front knee, walk your hands as far forward as you need, but try to keep your back heel down so that you can lift the breastbone and look forward. Good. But to keep the fluid nature of the body in mind without becoming rigid. Just let yourself move a little. Whatever kind of wriggling around feels good. Good. And then we're going to try and straighten the front leg. So the feet are hip width parallel. Feeling that stretch in the front leg. And the breath, expanding the ribs. Beautiful. We're going to lift up, stand on the right leg. Bring the hands in front of the heart, the left foot in front. Whatever height you want to lift that leg to. And even here, rather than thinking of being rigid in your balance, have a feeling of flow in your body. Nice. Feet under the hips. Inhale, arms up. Urdhva. Feeling the fluid nature of your joints. Uttanasana. Right foot back. Press the back heel. Okay, bend the front knee as far as you need to. Reach the torso forward as far forward as you can. Press the back heel. And then have a little wiggle around, trying to get your front leg straighter. But trying to keep an ease, a flow to the joints of the spine. Feeling the ribs expand with the breath. Good. And then we're going to step forward and lift up. Bring the hands in front of the heart and lift your right leg as high as you're working today. In front of you. Without feeling rigid in your balance. Good. And then Tadasana, feet underneath the hips. Inhale under. And as you exhale, nice and flowing Uttanasana. Biggest step back this time with the left foot. Bend your back knee. And we're going to lift up into the crescent lunge. The back knee starts to bend and drop towards the floor. But again, we want to do this posture without rigidity. So we have a feeling of resilience and flow in the joint. Beautiful. Hands in front of the heart. Step forward and balance on the right foot. Bring the left foot in front. You can lift the leg as high as you like, or keep your tiptoes on the floor, or even hold your knee or foot. But again, we're not rigid here. Really enjoying the resilience. Good, and then releasing that side. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, Uttanasana. Enjoying the breath in the body. Big step back, right foot, and the back knee starts to drop towards the floor. We lift the torso, lift the arms by the ears. The back knee is bent, front knee is bent. Ooh. As the hips drop, the arms reach up, the thumbs reach back. The heart opens. The shoulders relax. Feeling the flow of breath. Beautiful. Step forward, balance onto the left foot, right foot in front. Holding, if that seems reasonable, your knee or foot. Good, and then releasing it. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, nice soft Uttanasana. Enjoying that breath. Good. Now we're going to take some little jumps or steps towards the back of the mat. Place your hands down and you can step and take some little jumps. Downward facing dog pose. Really relaxing now. The top of the head down, the shoulders wide, press your heels, lift your kneecaps. Swing your hips from side to side. Tune in to that space again between the ribs. Enjoying deep and satisfying breath. Good, and then little jumps forward. Stand up when you roll out of room. Roll. Run out of room. I'm warming up. Good. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Good. Keep that ease, that feeling of flow in the joints of the body. Great. Left leg back. And we're going to keep the back leg straight. We're going to lift up onto our fingertips and lift the breastbone and look forward. So the front leg is bent. Good. Bring the arms up beside you, palms facing up. Look forward. Okay, now we're going to try and balance on the right foot and lift the left leg up behind. But if you need to hold on to the floor or hold on to your chair, and bring your arms to that support. Otherwise, looking forward, feel the fluid nature of the body as you lift your left leg behind. Hips stay level to the floor. Lift the palms. Ooh. Good. And then we're going to step all the way forward and lift up. Nearly. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. And Uttanasana. Nice and fluid. We're trying not to approach the postures with rigidity. Feeling the fluid resilience in your body. Good. Right leg back. And we're going to bend the front. And look forward. Lift up onto your fingertips. Try to lift your breastbone and feel that back bend. Drop the hips a little. Press the back heel. Okay, feeling really powerful in the legs now. Lift the arms beside you. Palms up, look forward. Feel the expansion of the rib. Nice work. So either bringing your hands back to the floor or the chair, or try for balancing on your left leg and lifting the right leg up behind. Whoa, looking forward. And then we're going to try and step forward and stand up in one smooth movement. Oh, nearly. Beautiful. Tadasana. Urdhva Hastasana. And as you exhale, nice and relaxed. Uttanasana. Take your little steps or your little jumps, your feet to the back of the mat. Downward facing dog pose. Ah. Swing your hips from side to side again. Feel the breath expanding the rib cage. Ah. Nice. We're going to bring the right knee to the right wrist. Good. And you can bring your right foot as close to your left wrist as is comfortable for your knee. It doesn't have to go all the way there. Good. And drop your left knee to the floor. So we're in a preparation for pigeon pose. Lift up onto your fingertips. And again, explore the fluid nature of your joint. We're trying not to be rigid here in the posture. You might even like to wriggle around. And then really lifting the breath both. Really enjoying it. Good. We're going to lengthen the belly out over the front leg, and maybe you can be on your forearm, or even you have room in your room in your body, you can take your arms out to straight. Feeling the flow of breath, that nice big expanse of rib cage. Good. And then release that side. Hands back under the shoulders. Tuck your left toes under. Step back into downward facing dog pose. Good. And then step your left knee to your left wrist. And your left foot swings towards your right hand, just as much as is comfortable for your knee. Take your right knee gently to the floor. Use that foot back. And again, I'm not trying to achieve some end point, but rather exploring the flexibility, fluid nature of the whole body, the resilient feeling in the joint. Good. Lifting the breastbone, shoulder blades back. And then we lift the belly and reach forward and bring the arms down now onto your forearm. Good. And then reach your arms all the way forward. And then bring the hands back. Tuck under the toes of your right foot and step back to downward facing dog pose. Pressing the heels down, opening the chest, and enjoying each deep breath into the ribs. Great. We're going to take little steps or little jumps towards the front of the mat. And when you run out of room, roll up. And Tadasana. Great. Turn to the side of your mat so you can see your device, or wherever you can see your device. For tree pose, you can take the hands in front of the heart and wave a little from side to side. So nice to keep reminding ourselves all that space that's available between the ribs. And back to center. Yes. We're going to turn the right toes out to the side. So standing in your left foot. And place your right foot wherever it will work for tree pose, Virksasana. So below your knee, above your knee. We'll keep the hands pressing, the shoulder blades reaching down. Could you try a little bit of that waving of the ribs, the spine from side to side? It might have to be a small movement. Stay balanced. And we keep that fluid nature. Know all of the joints. Nice. And then lastly, come back to center and reach the arms up. Oh, feeling that mobile ribcage. Breathing deeply. Good. And then releasing that side. Bring the left toes and turn them out. So you might be toes on the floor, finding your foot under your knee or on your right thigh. And can we make those little wobbles from side to side? Wobbles, quite the right word. Waves. Feel the resilience in the joints, their fluid nature. Taller and taller, coming back to center and arms up by the ear. Good. And then releasing. Oh, nice work. All right, we're going to come down to sitting and sit in a way, be playful, try to keep the joints feeling really fluid. So whatever the movements are, to sit down, exploring. All right, we're going to sit up onto a blanket. The reason is we have more opportunity to get that tilt forward of the pelvis. That's what you're using your blanket for. Just back behind or just in front of the line of the hip bone. It helps to tip the top of the pelvis forward. Good. All right, let's take the soles of the feet together. And we're going to have the right leg out straight. So the left leg stays bent in. Now I know, John, you have to be really careful with this pose, but you might let's instead do a half lotus. So you're going to pick up your left leg and make some circles with your knee. so that you can feel where the movement of the hip will go to. And we're trying to sit up really tall and straight and even in the spine. All right, put your foot, your left foot, down somewhere on the right thigh. Don't plop it on the knee because too much pressure on the knee. So just above or below. And if you're really having trouble with that movement, just put your foot on the floor. Otherwise, you're bringing your heel as close as you can to the top of the right thigh, that half lotus position. Nice. We're going to turn to the left side, and you can put your right hand somewhere to help you turn. Your foot is sitting here, maybe near your right hip. If you've got that pretty close, you might like to go a little bit further and reach out your left arm. Rotate the shoulder forward. Take the arm behind you as far as you can and try and reach your fingers over here where your foot is. You might even be able to hold onto your foot somewhere near. Okay, so we're going to try and lengthen the spine. And even though we're in a pretty awkward position, let's see if we can find that fluid nature in the joints, the feeling of the breath in the body. Turning to the left. Feeling the ribs expand, even though there's some resistance there because of the twist. Ooh. Good, and then release that side. Nice work. Bring the soles of the feet together. Feeling that even lift of the spine. Ah, the flow of breath in the body, that big expanse of rib cage. Good. And then left leg out to straight. Okay, we're going to take the right leg and you're going to make some little circles, investigating the movement in your hip. Try to sit up tall and even in your lower back. Good. And then you want to try to keep that tip forward of the hips. Hard to juggle all these movements. And bring your right foot as high along your left thigh as your leg is comfortable with. So if it doesn't go onto the thigh, maybe below the knee, we might need to keep it on the floor. But we want to keep a nice even mobileness to the lower back. Okay. You might be able to put the heel right in front of the left hip. Okay, and we're going to turn to the right side. And as you know, it's not a set and forget kind of activity. It really is a curious exploration. How can you have a healthy spine here? How can you lengthen the body a little? Can you keep that feeling of fluid flow in the joints of the body? You want to do that extra reaching, that the right arm reaches out, the shoulder rotates forward, and you reach back as far as you can behind you to the left side, as though you could take your fingers to your toes or somewhere near there. Enjoying the flow. Even the peacefulness of a difficult yoga posture. And then releasing And bring the soles of the feet back together. We're going to make little circles, keep them really small, with the torso around your central axis, but investigate your forward movement. The whole torso, making a kind of conical movement around the base of the spine. Go in the other direction so that we encounter the resistance in the groin, the inner thighs and hamstrings. Good. And then be in that resistance somewhere in your forward range of movement. And feel that big expanse of breath. Not just the ribs expanding on the inhalation, but that feeling of letting go on the exhalation. We let go of tension. Maybe there's some more movement available. Mm. Mm. And then release. Nice. Take a laying down position. You're either going to be in bamboo pose or have room overhead to take your feet overhead. So in bamboo pose, take the blanket underneath your hip. Well, actually take it underneath your hips anyway. Good. And balance your legs up. So you can stay here, focusing on that feeling of easeful joint flow of the breath in your body. And if you want to try feet overhead, don't go all the way, just watch your neck. So you just want to get the hips up off the floor so that the back lengthens, the back of the neck is long. Good, and then releasing from there. Back to bamboo pose. You can have arms however feels good. Good. And then bend your knees and lift your hips. And we've got the inside edges of the feet together, knees together. We'll lift the hips, swing them right, and the knees are going to go. Over to the right. Come back to center, lift your hips, swing them left, and knees go right. And we're looking over. I think I said that before. Have two left. Good, and then back to center. Hugging your knees into your chest and rocking from side to side. Good. Take the left heel onto the right knee through the whole pose. Right knee moving to the right shoulder, left knee moving away from the left shoulder. Good, and then second side. Right heel on the left knee. Beautiful work. Releasing. If you have time to stay in your own shavasana, please do that on my page. If, like me, you need to finish this practice, we're going to roll over to the right side and come up to sitting. Enjoying the flow, breath and body, and take the feeling of the practice. Namaste.